What's good, fam? Teacher Eddie back with another ERB breakdown. ER breakdown by the ER Beast, as voted on by you, my faithful audience. I put up 5 choices today, and this is the one you chose: James Bond versus Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery versus Mr. License to Kill. Let's get into it.
James Bond!
Ooh, it's the Daniel Craig James Bond. I wonder if we're going to get any surprises. There's a few Bonds.
A beef with a sheath and no, and Blofeld with a cheek scar. But they were not as crooked and rotten as your teeth are. I go balls to the wall for on this whack twat in an ascot. Blast shots at you like gas from the back slot of the fat Scot. Permission.
Damn, okay. First off, hold on. Let me just go back a little bit on this one. James Bond. So this is the Daniel Craig version, I assume. As you know, there have been several different versions of James Bond. There's, of course, most famously, Sean Connery. Daniel Craig has been the latest one. There was also Timothy Dalton, Roger Moore, Pierce Brosnan. So there have been several different incarnations, and now, due to the last movie being Daniel Craig's final performance as Bond, there's going to be a new Bond. So there's a lot of different people out there. Some rumors are saying Tom Hardy. Some rumors are saying Idris Elba, which would be interesting, in first African-American James Bond. But he mentions all the people that, he's dealt with. Le Chiffre in the first movie that Daniel Craig did, which was Casino Royale, which was actually a remake of a previous Bond movie starring David Niven. So David Niven also played James Bond, but unofficially. Unofficially, he was actually the first James Bond because Casino Royale, I believe, came before Dr. No, which was the first official Bond movie starring Sean Connery. He mentions No and Blofeld with the cheek scars.
But they were not.
Because there was a different Blofeld in previous Bond movies. So Blofeld was reused, but they weren't as crooked and rotten as your teeth are. Famously, in the movies, Austin Powers' teeth are pretty rotten and crooked, much like Blofeld, No, and Le Chiffre.
Not as crooked and rotten as your teeth are.
I love Peter's reaction here. Why would you? That's not nice.
I go balls to the wall for on this whack twat in an ass.
I got balls to the wall, play on the word wall, but he's talking about the Walther PPK, which is the preferred weapon of James Bond, on this whack twat. So twat, used in the UK version, or the Queen's English, is a little more acceptable than it is here in the States. And Austin Powers does wear an ascot around his neck. But best use of an ascot, Don Knotts as Mr. Furley in Three's Company.
Scott, blast shots at you like gas from the back slot of the fat Scot.
Blast, what was it?
Author on this whack twat in an ascot. Blast shots at
Blast shots at you like gas.
you like gas from the back.
From the backs. Oh, from the backs. Okay, I get it. So he's telling me he's going to shoot fire. So obviously shooting guns, but of course, another term for, spitting hot fire, for rapping. So it's a double meaning there. Like gas from the back slot of a fat Scot. So obviously he's talking about Mike Myers' other portrayal in the movie, because he portrays several different characters throughout the movies. And one of them is Fat Bastard, aptly named. He's a fat bastard. And so he's going to shoot these lyrics at him just like the farts from the back slot ass of a fat Scot.
Slot of the fat Scot. Permission from the crown to put a scoundrel down. I've earned it. I'm licensed to kill. You couldn't get a learner's permit.
Oh, damn. I get that line. Well, I get most of the lines. So he's asking permission from the crown. So, of course, James Bond is English. Even though Sean Connery was Scottish. But James Bond works for MI6 as a double O. His designation is 007. So double O's do have a license to kill. And he has that from the Crown. So he's asking permission from the Crown in order to put Austin Powers down.
To put a scoundrel down, I've earned it. I'm licensed to kill. You couldn't get a learner's permit.
You couldn't get a learner's permit. And License to Kill is also, it was Timothy Dalton, I believe. It was a James Bond movie. It was called License to Kill with Timothy Dalton in the 80s. Actually, pretty good James Bond movie. James Bond going rogue in that movie. I liked it. But yeah, Austin Powers, pretty funny scene in the first movie, International Man of Mystery, where he's trying to make the U-turn and he's just backing up, back and forth, back and forth. After 24 films, yes, and officially there are 25 now.
After 24 films, I'm still reaching new heights. Your third movie died. Guess you only live twice. Spell my name!
Ooh, that was a good line. That was a good line. That's a burn right there. So he's saying after 24 movies and 50 plus years now, 60 years. The first movie came out in 62, I believe. So I believe this is the 60th year of James Bond. But he's saying he's still reaching new heights. And that is true, especially some of the Daniel Craig movies. The latest ones have been excellent. Villains have been on point, just really, really good.
Still reaching new heights. Your third movie died. Guess you only...
Your third movie died, so there were only 3 Austin Powers movies. The third one was pretty bad. I Guess You Only Live Twice. That's the name of a Sean Connery James Bond movie, so play on the title, and You Only Live Twice, meaning, yeah, you had 2 good runs, but that third one was hot garbage.
Live twice. Spell my name! The ladies wanna be on D. Any sex appeal you might have is...
Oof.
Spell my name! The ladies wanna...
Spell my name! The ladies wanna be on D. Oh, man. Take a minute to appreciate that, people. Take ERB. Take a minute to bow down to the masters. ERB. Spell my name. The ladies want to be on D. They want to be on James Bond's D. But it literally spells his name. B-O-N-D. Be on D. Bond. Wow. Wow.
Be on D. Any sex appeal you might have is beyond me. I'm bespoke from a head to my toe, and after this flow I'm done. I only need one round. Golden gun.
Damn. Yo. At first I was like, okay, you know, not bad, not bad. But towards the end, Daniel Craig killed it, son. Killed it. I'm bespoke from head to toe. Bespoke meaning like handmade, custom made. So everything James Bond wears is all custom made suits, custom made weapons from Q. He's all custom, baby.
Oh, and after this flow I'm done. I only need one round.
Golden gun, so reference to the man with the golden gun. I only need one round. Just needs the one round, he's saying, and one round meaning one bullet. Famous opening to the James Bond movies here. Wow, what a first round.
Golden gun.
You look a lot more blonde in your movie, baby. That's alright, let's just keep it groovy, baby. Randall exposition told me this would be boring, but Jesus, man, even my mojo's snoring. I've never seen such a miserable spy. I've also never seen a man with glistening thighs. I mean, you can't...
That is true. That is true. Okay, so let's go back a little bit here.
Golden gun.
You look a lot more blonde in your movie, baby. That's alright, let's just keep it groovy, baby.
You look a lot more blonde in yours. That one is hard for me because I am colorblind, so I'm going to assume Daniel Craig is blonde, or maybe he's not, and Austin Powers is calling him out on that. And saying that, you know, you ain't as sexy as you think, mofo. Let's just keep it groovy, baby. Oh my God. That line was when that movie came out at the end of the 90s. Everybody was groovy, baby. Oh, behave. Oh, God, I wanted to fucking smack the shit out of everyone who said that. Basil Exposition, his name is quite literal. Basil Exposition is the person who exposits on Austin Powers' different missions that he's going to go on. So he breaks them down for him and all that stuff.
Tell me this will be boring, but Jesus, man, even my mojo's snoring. I've never seen such a miserable spy. I've also never seen a man with glistening thighs.
Yeah. So Basil told them that, yeah, this mission's going to be pretty boring. The glistening thighs, yeah. I mean, Daniel Craig has an amazing body, but that face, man, I don't get it. I don't get it. And his lips all the time. Like, he's always in deep thought, but he's like a Neanderthal, not thinking about anything, really. Just like thinking about eat, make sex. Eat, make sex, kill, license to kill. So he's making fun of the fact that he has a hairless body, whereas the original James Bond, which is obviously, of course, Austin Powers here is based on James Bond primarily, and the early James Bond with the big hairy chest with the tuft of hair here, like Sean Connery. Men are hairy. Get over it. Deal with it. But yeah. You can't check properly with glistening thighs like that. Little hairless 12-year-old Filipino boy looking motherfucker.
I mean, you can't check properly with that wax cuz. Birds flock to the musk of my chest buzz. Yeah. I hypnotize you with a little striptease and then judo jump. I'm swinging on you like the 60s.
Yeah, the 60s were known as the swinging 60s. Just like the roaring 20s, right? The fabulous 40s, so on and so forth. So Austin Powers does try to distract women primarily by doing a striptease because his libido is just shagadelic, baby. And he mentions his libido several times already. Judo chop. So, of course, he's a master of the martial arts, especially judo. Okay, that was a good line. You like all the sex I've had unprotected. What was it? Austin Powers said, only sailors, I think, use condoms, he said. He's like, oh, use condoms. It was the 60s, man. It was the swinging 60s, baby. Nobody was using condoms.
People want a hero with a little personality. No one wants to sit through your gritty reality. Maybe Q can craft some new...
And also, I want to say, the beat is hot. I love Austin Powers' theme here. I love it. Maybe Q can craft some new plot lines. So Q, again, is the person who makes all the different gadgets that James Bond uses from his car to like the watch that shoots out poison darts and all that different stuff. But yeah, he's saying that James Bond is a more grittier version, more, realistic, quote unquote, especially the Daniel Craig movies, which got a lot of praise after Casino Royale came out for being a much grittier Bond, not a lot of, one-liners and puns and all that stuff, just a very gritty, dirty version of Bond. Whereas Austin Powers, just like here, I mean, Peter is nailing it. When I grade this battle in a separate video, as always I do, battle grading, I mean, he's definitely going to win, I think, the Authenticity Award so far.
Thunderbolt too bloody time. I'm one of a kind. You're always getting remade. You can't touch me, double OB.
Yeah, so Thunderball is a James Bond movie which was made twice. The second time was made unofficially. So Sean Connery starred in the movie in the 60s. And then in the mid 80s, Sean Connery comes back to do a James Bond film. So he comes out of Bond retirement and does Never Say Never Again, which is basically Thunderball all over again, but it's considered an unofficial James Bond movie because it was not made by the same studios that made all the other James Bond movies. So it's considered an unofficial James Bond movie. It's not a part of the canon, so to speak. But, you know, he's saying you're always being remade. So that's a play on the remake of the movie. So you're reusing ideas. And of course, because James Bond has had several different actors play the iteration throughout the past 60 years.
You can craft some new plot line. You made Thunderbolt too bloody time. I'm one of a kind. You're always getting remade. You can't touch me. Double O behave.
Double O behave. Oh, behave was another catchphrase from this movie that I just couldn't stand. But there was also another movie, Casino Royale, was also a remake. As I mentioned, David Niven was in the original Casino Royale back in the 60s. And then that was the first Daniel Craig movie that came out 2000, I want to say 6, 9, something like that.
I can't believe I'm wasting my time with this clown. I should be on an island with a fucking model by now, sipping dry martinis and peeling off bikinis.
Yes, that was a big deal. This version of James Bond drinks dry martinis versus Bond throughout the previous 50 years before Daniel Craig drank vodka martinis, shaken, not stirred. And famously, in Casino Royale, when he goes to order the martini, the dry martini, the bartender asks him, shaken or stirred, and he's like, I don't give a fuck, or I don't give a damn, something like that. And Sean Connery was probably like, you fucking bastard. Shaken, not stirred, of course. Have a shit.
Not rapping against Swedish penis pumping weenies.
Yeah, that's not
So that's a reference to Austin Powers' movie, where among his belongings, once he's unfrozen in the 90s, was a Swedish-made penis pump, which, of course, he claimed, that's not mine, baby. But we all know it was yours. But Craig is just like, what the fuck, man? Like, I came to this battle prepared. I had this hot first verse, and you're just la-di-da, oh behave, baby, shagadelic, fantastic, which is Austin Powers' character. And that's why I said I just absolutely loved. You could look at the Austin Powers verse at first and be like, man, that was pretty weak. He didn't really hit Bond that hard with anything. But that's his personality, and ERB always nails that.
I was finished, I'm sick of your silly gimmicks. I'm the best spy in the business, just ask all the critics. And I've been through hell, so yeah, I'm a bit of a cynic, but I'm the original model that your free ass mimics.
I wouldn't exactly call you original. It's the most prominent, dominant bomb spy, so pay homage, handing out ass whippings amongst...
Oh, Sean Connery makes an appearance.
It's the most prominent, dominant bomb spy, so pay homage, handing out ass whippings. I'm on some real James Bondage. Your performance doesn't stir me, and I'm certainly not shaken. I wanted shitty acting in my action film. I'd go and watch, take a nice...
Oh, shit. Yo. Oh, my God. Epic Lloyd being epic as always, man. So, and that was a perfect entrance as Daniel Craig was like, I'm the original model for... whatever.
I wouldn't exactly call you original. It's the most...
And he's like, you're not the original, bitch. Sean Connery's the original.
Prominent, dominant bomb spy, so pay homage, handing out ass whippings. I'm on some real...
Ass whippings. I'm on some real James Bondage. I love it. I love it. Bondage. Who doesn't love a little bondage? Definitely Sean Connery. Sean Connery was pretty... Yeah. He would have been Me Too'd for sure.
James Bondage. Your performance doesn't stir me, and I'm certainly not shaken. I wanted shitty acting in my action film. I'd go...
Wow, yes. Jesus. So, of course, he makes a reference to shaken, not stirred. The vodka martini, shaken, not stirred. But he's saying, you don't, your performances, they don't shake me. They don't stir me at all. If I wanted to watch shitty acting in my action movies, I'd watch Taken. Why you hating on Liam Neeson, man? I love the first Taken. I mean, Taken 2, 3, 74, whatever they're on. They're all hot garbage.
Go and watch Taken. I see your modern gadgets and I piss on them all. I don't need a cue to break your balls. I'm the
Oh, what a play on words there. So he's saying, man, all your modern gadgets,
and I
please.
piss on them all. I don't need a cue to break your
I don't need a cue to break your balls. So in the game of billiards or pool, when you break the balls, you use the white ball, which is use a cue to hit the balls. So I don't need a cue to break your balls. A play on Q again, who makes all the different gadgets for James Bond. And Q as in a pool cue, the stick you use to hit the balls with in order to break your balls. That was great. What a great line.
I'm the granddad of the brand millions of fans have been sold on. You're so far up on my nuts, I should call you Bond. Gold Bond.
Yeah, could I get back?
Oh man, I remember actually one time I took a shower at my friend's place and I used this Gold Bond on my balls. And I was like, oh man, thank God you had Gold Bond. He's like, why? I was like, I used it on my balls. He says, I use that shit on my feet, man. Why are you putting it on your balls for? I was like, what are you going to do? But yeah, so he's saying he's the granddad, meaning he's the granddaddy of the James Bond franchise. He was the first that the millions of fans have been sold on.
Hold on. You're so far up on my nuts, I should call you Bond. Gold Bond.
And he says it like he says his name in the movies, Bond. James Bond. But yeah, because you're so far up on my nuts. And again, Gold Bond, I mean, good. It's a cooling action on the nuts. It's pretty good.
Yeah, could I get back in my rap, please?
Rap these, you velvety.
He slapped the shit out of me. Oh my God, you're gonna kill me, ERB. He slapped the shit out of him.
Yeah, could I get back in my rap, please?
Rap these, you velvety hack.
It's the movie business and you've had your six. The world has had quite enough.
Oh shit.
It's the movie business and you've had your six. The world has had quite enough rug-wearing misogynists.
Okay, the Daniel Craig just dropped an A-bomb right there. So you've had your six. It's the movie business
And
you've had your six. So there was 6 Sean Connery movies, but an even deeper meaning to that line. It's one of the most famous lines in James Bond movies, along with, do you expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die. In Goldfinger, in Dr. No, an assassin is trying to kill Bond. Bond sets up a decoy, and the assassin pumps him full of bullets, thinking it's James Bond. Then Bond comes out, and he said, "That's a Smith & Wesson. You've had your 6." So meaning he pulled off all his 6 shots in a Smith & Wesson. So that is chef's kiss right there.
had your 6. The world has had quite enough rug-wearing misogynists.
For those who don't know, Sean Connery did not treat women very well. A lot of actresses who worked with him said he was just an absolute pig. There were a lot of incidences of domestic abuse and violence. Like I said, he would definitely be Me Too'd in this current generation.
Yeah, to be honest, you are a bit rapey. I mean, I like to swing, but Dr. No means no, babe.
Oh, what a cool! Dr. No means no, baby. Dr. No being the first official, again, James Bond movie with Sean Connery, which I believe is 62, if I'm not mistaken. But Dr. No means no, but like Sean, man, we love you. You're an Oscar winner. You're one of the greatest actors of all time. We love you, but you're a bit rapey, bro. No means no.
Oh, please, I'm an extraordinary gentleman, undistinguished. If they made a mini me, they'd have to cast Peter Dinklage.
I'm an extraordinary gentleman. Distinguished. It's a reference to Sean Connery's, I believe, final movie, which was A League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and he was one of the distinguished gentlemen in that movie, which was terrible. He plays Alan Quartermain in the movie. I mean, I watched it one time, and it was not that good.
If they made a mini-me, they'd have to cast...
So, Mini-Me is, again, Mike Myers plays several different characters. He also plays the main villain, which is based off of Blofeld, which is Dr. Evil, and Dr. Evil does have a Mini-Me. But he's saying if they cast a Mini-Me for Sean Connery, it could only be somebody as cool as Peter Dinklage. Couldn't be anybody else.
Peter Dinklage!
Or maybe they should cast a Bond who's actually English.
Why, pussy, aren't you the cunning linguist?
As a matter of fact,
The slaps, son, the slaps. The Daniel Craig Bond here makes a reference again. That Bond is an English character, whereas Sean Connery was Scottish and didn't even try for an English accent.
actually English.
Why, pussy?
The delivery of the line, though, the smugness of Epic Lloyd here. Why, pussy, aren't you the cunning linguist? A reference to one of the characters in James Bond, one of the Bond ladies, Pussy Galore. Pussy, aren't you the cunning linguist?
Pussy, aren't you the cunning linguist?
As a matter of fact,
What
I've
a
got a
great
knack for
line.
licking old cunts. After I beat you,
You the cunning linguist.
as a matter of fact,
I've got a knack for licking old cunts. I get what he's saying here. He's calling Sean Connery the old cunt in this scenario. But do you really have a knack for licking old cunts? I mean, really?
knack for licking old cunts. After I beat you, I'll kick the shit out of the man who does your stunts.
Now you listen here, you little...
So Daniel Craig famously does all of his own stunts on the James Bond movies, which is one of the main reasons why he wanted to quit like 2 movies ago. It was taking too much of a toll on him physically. Whereas Sean Connery used the stunt double for his stunts. Sean Connery's like, I'm not doing that shit.
Duck face, right? I'm all in! I'm ready to die any day that you want!
Oh man, and I love how Austin Powers pops up in the background, that look on his face, so understated. Like, it's such an understated performance, but he does more in the understatement of his performance than if he went like all out. How great. Duckface, yes, thank you. Thank you. That's all the time. Anytime that you see Daniel Craig just on the beach, just duck-faced, runt. Yeah, Daniel Craig is pretty short. He's like 5'8", 5'9".
I'm all in! I'm ready to die!
I'm ready to die, so die another day. That's a reference to a James Bond movie, All In. There's a lot of different poker scenes and card scenes throughout the movies, famously in Casino Royale. Great Texas Hold'em scene there.
Any day that you want!
Who won? Your guess is as good as mine right now. I will be doing a separate video to grade the battle. So first I break down the battle line by line, verse by verse, and then I do a separate video where I rewatch the video without any interruptions, and then I grade it based on my trademarked categories to see who won this one. So thank you all for the support. Thank you for voting for this one. Much love to all of you, and I will catch you in the next video. Fam! As always, thank you to all the Patreons who support Teacher Ready, shouting out the Chancellors, Alex S. and John Alonzo, the Principals, Bruno, Chad, Clement, Francisco, Freeman, Laura, Quiet J. If you'd like to support Teacher Ready, check out the links in the description of every video, or just go to patreon.com/modernretroshow.